Did not keep it sub rosa.
Now we are moving to our next question.
Yes.
Should kids be forced to hug or kiss relatives at family events? Which I believe
This is mine.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
So
you will challenge first.
I think for you, David, I'd like you to smarten it up.
I accept your challenge, sir.
Okay.
Liz, she knew this was coming.
I know it's coming.
Look, Ma, no
You
hands.
know it's coming.
So Liz
Rude.
Liz is not allowed to talk with her hands,
So rude.
which she has such a proclivity of doing. Easy points.
We'll see about that. Nathan, you may not say family.
Okay.
With the You Don't Say challenge.
Yes, you don't say. For the duration of the challenge, Nathan may not use the word family, or if he does, I get a point. All right, so Nathan, you get to start us off.
Okay. I do not believe that anyone, but especially children, should not be forced to physically display affection to anyone. I do think that encouraging, especially to family, and there I go.
Boom!
Point!
Boom.
Point! But now you're
Obviously,
free.
today is not going to be my day for those points.
Yeah, you're free.
So, wow. I was even trying to think,
You
but
were trying.
that didn't take long. I do think there is a lot of value in having a family that has a lot of hugs, has that doesn't have taboos against a certain level of closeness. That there isn't that, we're always very stoic and don't show any affection. I think that has its own problems when there's too much lack of affection.
Right.
But I also think that there's a lot of trouble when it's like, oh no, it's, Aunt so-and-so, you've got to go give her a kiss or stuff like that. Children need to know that their feelings have value. Mm-hmm. And that if they're not comfortable doing something, that means something.
Yeah.
Now, I do think, though, that the parents or the guardians of that child need to find out why.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's just that the child is, generally being a petulant little twit, well, then there's other parts that need to be worked on, obviously.
Yeah.
But there should be a reason. It should be found out why.
Yeah. I mean, and part of it, too, is it's also making sure the family themselves understand things. I have a friend she has a son who, he turned 3 recently,
Mm-hmm.
and she has raised him so far where he knows that if he doesn't want to be hugged or kissed or whatever, he says so.
Very good.
And she, she's letting him learn to set his boundaries now. And she's explained that to the rest of the family.
Good.
Her mother-in-law, his grandmother, however, disagrees with this point of view and refuses to listen to it. And at his, I'm not sure if it was his 3rd birthday party or one of his cousins, but it was a family birthday party. They were there, and Grandma went over and kept badgering him to give her a hug and kiss, and he said no, and she kept badgering him. And so finally, he socked her in the mouth.
Good for him.
Which my friend, once she had stopped laughing, she had a discussion both with the 3-year-old to explain, don't hit Grandma, and to Grandma of, don't force him to kiss you, because that's wrong. Which I fully agree with. As you said, I think the affection thing is a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of it, though, is helping the kid to learn that he can set boundaries is great for a variety of reasons. But also one of the things is, and this is getting a little dark, but you have a lot of children who have been touched in bad ways by
Right.
family members who let it happen because they were always taught you have to show affection to Uncle Bernie, and then Uncle
Yep.
Bernie took it too far.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how are we supposed to teach people the fact that each person's body is their own and is their own sacred space if from the youngest age their own body isn't their own sacred space and they have no control over it?
Right. Well, and I think the other thing I feel like is really important is learning to have a language of communication about that consent early. Because one of the other things that I've seen is when girls get to be old enough to start dating, if they haven't had the opportunity to learn how to express themselves and haven't learned how to have that conversation of, no, I don't want to hug today, even as just a little kid, then it makes it even more difficult when they're first starting to date somebody to be able to have that conversation about where their boundaries are, and they
Right.
don't know how to express it. I mean, they really don't know how to convey that to the other person without feeling like they're being mean, or they get told that they're being mean or rude or
Give us
whatever.
an example.
Well, so when girls are in middle school and you start, doing the dating the boys at school thing, if you don't hold hands with a boy that you've told you like, then you're a prude, or you get told that you're just being too sensitive, and then it gets really easy to push somebody past that. So,
Slippery slope.
Yeah.
and it means that it isn't in the regular flow of discussion of having that conversation of, is it okay for me to hug you? How are you feeling about that today?
Right.
So, like another example, dang it. Another example, so close. We only have 3 minutes left. But another example that goes with that is yesterday, my little friend Miles, who is 3, was at the office, and we were talking about different stuff, and his mom was trying to get him to leave because it was time to go. And he was standing in the hallway in my office, and he was like, but I have something to say to Elizabeth. And I was like, okay, what do you want to talk about? And he stood there for a second, and he stared at me and said, do you want to hug before you go? And he's like, no, not today. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And that was it. Like, that was the whole conversation. And then he was like, I wanted to tell you about the swimming pool. And I was like, okay, tell me about the swimming pool, man. So we had a little conversation about the swimming party that he was going to go to, and that was it. There wasn't any drama. There wasn't any,
Right.
like, trying to convince him. There wasn't any, that was the conversation. And that's, for him and I, that's been the way it has been ever since he was a baby. When his mom first brought him up to the office and I met him, she was like, do you want to hold him? And I was like, sure, I'll hold him. That sounds great. And I reached out to hold him, and he, like, climbed back on his mom. And I was like, okay. And she's like, no, Miles, you should go let Elizabeth hold you. And I was like, no, it's okay. I mean, I get he's 4 months old, but if he doesn't want me to hold him, he doesn't want me to hold him.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's okay. He just met me. I don't let people I just met carry me around. That's not normally how that goes for me either. So, so that's fine. But it's like, I've also seen situations where my friends' kids are much more comfortable talking to me about stuff because I don't force opinions on them. I don't try and make them feel a certain way about a situation. And they're much more open to coming to me and talking about that stuff later because they feel like I'm going to listen.
Well, and I also think that the other part of that is that it's building that culture is also very important for people to be able to better accept when someone says that no, they don't want to share in whatever that display of affection is.
Right. Or whatever
And
activity it is.
Yeah, whatever it is, that it becomes it's not that doesn't mean that they're being rejected as a person.
Right.
It doesn't mean that this person doesn't love me or any of those things. It can just mean, no, I don't want to hold hands at this time, or no, it's not a hug I'm looking for. But when you have a culture where no, you have to go hug grandma every time, or yes, you have to do all these things, and you have to do it, and the only reason you don't do it is because there's some really big issue. Like, oh, it's only because you're really sick. No, okay, now you don't have to go hug grandma, or something like that.
Right.
Then it means later on, you still have that feeling of, well, if then my girlfriend didn't hold hands with me, what did I do that was so bad?
Right.
You get that leveling expectation.
Yeah.
And it just feels like it creates a problem both ways. And by when we keep forcing children at a young age to move outside of their boundaries, move outside of their comfort zones, when they shouldn't. I mean, there's certain things, yes, you move outside of comfort zone to stretch a little bit more than, let's try new things. And let's try new foods and go new places. But trying, developing a good way to be able to...
Last time, but you finish your thought.
To be able to say, no, I don't want to hug. No, I don't want to kiss this person. And for both people to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Just will build so much more acceptance and of people interacting just in society as a whole.
Yeah.
And we need a lot more of that right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just overall.
Good. All right. So to trophy. But yeah, very good points. So close. Gotten over halfway through. Over halfway.
That's why I threw the challenge at you.
No.
White knuckling that hand of fire, it's pretty hard.
All right, Nathan.
I was having a hard time trying to figure out a challenge to throw out.
Like
Or
action cards?
Action card to throw out.
Yeah, we're gonna have. We all have to finish off our action cards. The next one, we'll probably see action cards flying around the table.
Because
All right.
we were having good conversations and didn't quite fit, and I didn't
Yep.
want to.
Yeah.
But I have to say, once again, though, Liz, I really like the supporting points you were
Thank
giving with talking about, as young teenage girls and that feeling of, that you, if you don't hold hands or things like that, that there's something wrong with you.
Right.
And that just leads to so much pain all the way around.
Yeah. Well, and I am going to give you best supporting points because I liked. I wish I could give you best new perspective, but I don't have another best new perspective. But best supporting points, I think, also fit of when you were talking about being the recipient of that rejection, and how because we've conditioned ourselves to always accept requests for affection, that if you don't have that understanding of sometimes people just don't want to hold hands or sometimes people just don't want to kiss you, that it's not you, it's just the situation,
Right.
then it means that it adds a pressure on both sides, like that other side has that pressure too.
Yeah.
And I gave Nathan most enjoyable conversation just because
Oh.
it was a very enjoyable conversation.
Thank you.
If I can speak words properly.
Speaking of the words,
Yes.
All right, thanks for joining us this Mixed Company Monday. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. So the other thing we want to do is we're going to ask you one more question. And that is, do you like to meet up to play games? Because we are going to be meeting up with a lot of people over the next few weeks to play a lot of games of Mixed Company, and we would love for you to be one of those people. So we are going to be at 5 different events at least. We may add in a couple of others here in the middle. We're going to be at 5 different events over the last couple of weeks of July and then all through August. So the first is this coming Saturday, July 27th. We will be at New World Comic Con in the playtesting area. We'd love for you to come out and join us. Then on the 28th, the Sunday after that, we're going to be at Loot and XP for our monthly free playtesting day. Then following that, we're going straight to Gen Con, August 1st through the 4th. If you're going to be at Gen Con, let us know. We'd love to meet up with you, play some Mixed Company. And if you just like watching people go to conventions and see what's happening there, we're going to have announcements and all the different fun stuff that we're getting into at Gen Con on our Facebook page, so make sure you're following that. Then on the 24th of August, we're going to be at MiracleCon, which is an awesome fundraiser for the Extra Life Foundation that helps put money in the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And then we are, the end of August, the very last day, we're going to wrap up August with Loot and XP for our other free playtesting day. I also want to remind you, our Kickstarter is live right now. So if you've enjoyed what you've been watching, we really want you to get to help us make more questions and participate in helping to build Mixed Company. The Kickstarter is only $12 to get your own copy of Mixed Company for you and your friends to play, and it will be running through August 8th. It will be running through August 8th. So make sure and get on there and pledge. It's www.mixed.company/KS to get to the Kickstarter. So we hope you've enjoyed this week's video. Subscribe to get the notifications about the future ones, and we will see you next week.